So we are now talking about strategic goals. And what we want you to know is that in order to meet your strategic goals, they basically are based in your financial goals. Your financial goals tie into every single strategic goal that you have. And so, in order to make sure that your strategic goals are set properly, you need to look at a few areas in your business. You need to look at your customers. Are you taking care of your customers? How would your customers rate you? And how would you rate your customers and your customer satisfaction? Do you have good systems and processes? And how are they being documented? And are they documented? Do you have strategic goals for your systems and processes? Because that ties into your finances. If you don't have a good system, if you don't have processes in place, it's going to impact your finances. Are you innovative? Are you learning? Is your company known for being innovative? With all that's happened during the pandemic, the businesses that have retained and stayed and are thriving are those who have, as that word you've all heard, pivot. Everybody is saying pivot, pivot, shift, shift. Well, that means innovation and continual learning. Where are you in that continuum? How would you rate yourself? And then looking at your finances, your profit and your loss, and how profitable are you really? Is your business as profitable as it could and should be? So those are the tips in looking at your strategic goals that you want to make sure each of those areas are considered so that you can determine how your strategic goals are and can be set. And so you can look at whether you're meeting those goals or not, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. But you need to make sure that you have a great strategy so that you can achieve those objectives. And again, we're accountants, but we really do find that all of those things tie to finances. If you don't have a good system in place for office supplies, for example, you might think, how does having a good process around office supplies affect my finances? Well, if people can just take your office supplies home and use them for your children's school supplies, that costs you. You have to have a process around everything you do, a good process, because it does affect your bottom line. So when at the end of this, we're going to ask you to rate yourself. And as you're doing this, you should be rating yourself to think about, where do you fall in this continuum? If you are rating yourself that, oh, well, I don't really have a customer scorecard. I don't have systems and processes, or I do have systems and processes, but they're not documented. I'm innovative, but not all the time. I don't really have a way that I'm tracking my finances. So think about that. On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you be on that continuum? Do you have things documented? Would you say that they're documented and somebody else could follow it if need be? Is everything documented? Is it just in your head? So think about that on a scale of 1 to 10.